to order. Okay, Jesus, roll call.
Commission Chair Francisco Vázquez.
Present.
Commission Vice Chair Jesus Cervantes.
Present.
Commission Secretary Joanna Esro.
Present.
And Commission Member Juan Duran. Commission Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Jesus Cervantes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you, Commissioner Vice Chair Cervantes. Call to the public. No, since there is no one from the public, let's move on to item number 5, consent agenda. And let's move on into all matters in consent agenda. All matters listed here considered to be routine by the Parks and Recs Commission and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussions are decided, then the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separate. Since we did present the minutes for last meeting, I would like to make the motion to approve the minutes from last month. Hey, Jesus? Oh,
Second that motion.
thank you. Okay, since the minutes from last month were seconded by Vice Chair Cervantes, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So the minutes are approved as they were presented. Thank you. I want to say, Commissioner Ezra, you did a wonderful job in time well invested and putting those minutes together. So just in the future, we have to make sure that we have those available for the next meeting so we can read them and the commissioners can have time to go through them, okay? So wonderful job. Thank you, Joanna, for an awesome job putting those minutes together. Okay, let's move on to, since we don't have public hearings or presentations at this moment, let's move on to item number 8, all business. All items for discussion and possible action to approve the amendment to the city ordinance number 2017-002 under section 16-2-2, reconfiguring composition of the commission from 9 to 7 total members. Okay, is that our discussion?
Good evening. Check. Well, good evening, Commission Chair Vasquez and Vice Chair members. I don't know if you're able to hear me remotely.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm going to share this the ordinance that was put together by the city attorney as a draft in preparation for next month's council meeting for possible approval.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
As you can see, this possible revision to the ordinance that entails all the parameters for the commission. The only change that's going to be into the composition of involving section 16/2/2 for the Somerton Parks and Recreation Commission would be consisting of a slight amendment to the membership or the total members of the commission rather from 9 to 7. And this is something that would be revised by City Council the first meeting of April for possible approval and consideration. And this is basically the only revision done to the ordinance in general. And as you can see, the last ordinance was approved by our old city manager, Ian McGahey, and ex-mayor Jose Yepes. Any questions in regards to this item?
No, actually, I do have a comment, and it is good that finally we're moving forward with this. Yeah. And I actually got a request to join the commission, so I'm gonna forward the name to Jesus, okay, and with the address, so you may contact the person for the next step. So I'm glad that finally we're gonna be able to have more members joining us. And then there is another request that I actually received. Somerton that would like to participate in and I said yes, I will forward this information to the Parks and Recs director. So for possible two new Parks and Recs commissioners.
Sure, and I mean, Mr. Jorge Lozano mentioned that we could include it probably in the first meeting of April. So that way we're going to follow up on this process and start moving forward with new additions to the commission, new members.
Yeah, because we feel alone, isn't it, Vice Chair?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to bring it down to a reasonable number. I do have a recommendation, though, for the meeting to probably have somebody from the commission present, because I have a feeling that certain council members are going to try to push back on changing the number from 9 to 7. But I don't think they have the full picture that it's not that, well, I guess I'll call it what it is. There's not enough interest at this time to fill nine positions. I think 7 is a reasonable number. So I think that's my recommendation, at least have somebody from the commission, if possible, or chairman there to answer any questions that the council members may have, since it is a rewording of the ordinance passed in 2018. But building off of what Chairman Vasquez touched on, I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a full commission. Even with the 9, I don't think we ever were at fully 9. I think at max we were at maybe 7. We always had 2 vacant seats that were always there and just there. So I think this will benefit the commission as a whole. And from comments being made, it looks like we do have some prospective candidates, which will be awesome to fill those seats.
And definitely, please come in and Vice Chair, if you would like to be there, that will be awesome for both of us to have a little bit more push, because I guess you're right in matters of having the clear picture of what's going on. We have a much better picture. The fact is, right now we're missing 5 members, so it makes a lot of sense to us, and to continue serving the way that we hope to serve, and bring more support to Parks and Recs. Definitely will be a great idea to move it down to 7, so we're not going to be tied to this problem. So definitely please come in. I mean, whenever this is going to be revised by the City Council, just shoot me an email or a call and I will be there.
Sure. With that, confirming we have approved to move forward with this process and add it to the agenda.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions before we move on into new business in matters of item number 8.1? If not, then let's move on to item number 9, new business. This is actually an update on reopening recreational programs in parks. All items are for discussion and possible action. So we have a 9.1 new business updating upcoming special events and direction moving forward. Ms. Brisa Garcia, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Chair, Commission, Brisa Garcia, Special Event Coordinator. I just wanted to give you guys an update that we are moving forward with having a 4th of July celebration. We do have a Plan A, hoping that depending on where we're at with vaccines and our COVID rates continue going down, we will have a modified 4th of July where people will just practice social distance and wear their face mask when they feel is needed. Or we will have a more modified 4th of July where we will have a pattern of a parking lot in the park, and we will have people, depending on how big the boxes are, 6 to 10 people in every other box. And that way they can be in their area and take advantage of the concert, and our vendors would be on the other area of the parking lot. We would have a smaller amount of vendors and making sure they are more than 6 feet apart, and all vendors have to bring in their own cones to make sure that the people that are lining up to buy their food are standing 6 feet apart from each other. I know that the Commission always gets the revenue from the beer, and I am here today to ask who would like to be on the liquor license for this event so I could start the paperwork.
Definitely we need. We need, I mean, we haven't done anything since we started this pandemic, so definitely move forward. So again, it happens to be that 4th of July is, I'm not working, so I'm available. Yeah, go for it.
So go ahead and do the liquor license under your information, and I can do all the other process. Okay. And then what I will do as well is I can message you whatever information I need.
Okay, thank you very much.
And also just to add, like I had mentioned before the meeting starting, any support that you guys need with the Art of the Month, just let me know, and I am here to assist you guys.
Oh, wow, thank you. And the idea that you were discussing before we started the meeting, making a short video promotional, that would be great also.
Yeah.
You know, to promote, because the excitement of when we actually presented it to the First Lady, the second house that we presented to, it was the same reaction. They were extremely happy with it, and now we're probably next month going to be presenting out to the third one. It's just that I lost my email with the address, and I tried to contact Jesus or Jesus, and but we're gonna forward with the next year of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for upcoming events for Brisa Garcia?
No, I do have a clarification item regarding the liquor license. In the past, the cities picked that up as far as being the main party.
So in the past, and if I can remember, my name was on the liquor license for greater dates. But I feel that it's not appropriate because I will be up and down and coordinating other things. I wouldn't be able to be responsible in making sure that the right age of people are getting that liquor. I think it would be better if whoever is going to be working that booth is responsible for whatever's going on with the liquor license.
Okay, no, I just wanted that for clarification, just so all the paperwork is done appropriately and it doesn't come back during an audit or anything like that.
Yeah, I think from my end, I can do all the paperwork, but I think it's more, it would be more responsible that whoever's going to be working the booth would be there making sure that, that we're making sure people are 21 years and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to have the same help that we get like 2-3 years ago, in which somebody else was either the Somerton PD or it was the security guys that were providing us the service.
Yeah.
For checking.
We will make sure that PD is there, and we'll also hire security on the site.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? If not, thank you very much for your presentation and the good news.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, let's move on to item number 9.2, update on reopening of recreational programs and for parks. Joshua Segura.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're going to share here in your screens our activity schedule. At the moment, we currently have open gyms going on Monday through Thursday, beginning at 6 o'clock, ending at 9. Mondays and Wednesdays, we're doing open gym for basketball, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be open gym for volleyball. Another update we have is we're currently working on getting ready to open up our community pool, the Somerton Heritage Pool. Our target date is the beginning of June for that opening. We want to fully open the pool for open swim as well as swimming lessons. So we're currently hiring lifeguards for that, and we have our instructor already coordinating plan to come down and certify those individuals. For the summer, our plan is to gradually get back into recreational activities. We have planned, as you can see, a co-ed kickball for adults. And we're also planning on doing a inauguration tournament for Joe Munoz Park. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the court is being resurfaced, new hoops, fenced. So we do plan on doing an inauguration tournament this summer. And again, as I said, our plan is to ease back into activities so that we're all prepared and ready to go for our fall activities. And our hope is, by that time, the situation's improved COVID-wise, so we can get closer to the volume of activities we're used to in the fall.
I have a question.
Yes.
I noticed yesterday there were some teams actually playing at the Joe Munoz baseball.
Yes, that's correct. As of the 15th, the parks were reopened, so we're taking reservations for practices or games. Yeah.
So it's not a tournament right now, it's just practice?
Just practice, okay. Correct.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions for the presentation of Joshua Segura? Comments?
We also, Commission Chair Vasquez and members, we also want to include in our presentation to share our mitigation plan that we're currently starting to enforce for any type of activity or tournament. Let me share just a moment.
Oh, I see.
This is something that we're basically piggyback from some municipalities in the Phoenix area. Basically what everybody's using, it's a simple form that has a basic protocol in which any promoter, organizer of an activity has to go through the process. They review a mitigation plan / process on the state website for the health department, and they have to follow the following recommendations that I have here on highlighted in bullets. And of course, it's going to involve, on their end, they're going to be responsible for providing an additional mitigation plan per se. For a softball tournament, we're going to be wiping down the bleachers. We're going to have hand sanitizer on site, and those type of scenarios that are going to promote social distancing, sanitizing, and precautionary measures for related to COVID. Any questions on this basic format or plan that we have in place?
I do have a question. The limit attendance of seating, who's going to be enforcing that?
That one, if it's a city sponsored activity, any type of league or event that we're hosting, it would be us.
Okay.
If it's an independent reservation, they have to submit the mitigation form along with the mitigation plan, but they're going to be enforcing or monitoring, and we would approve it, and they would have to enforce it. They would be responsible for it.
Okay.
And just want to mention that we're not approving any type of liquor, alcohol permits at the moment as a mitigation measure. What we reopened on the 15th is parks, amenities, and reservations for fields, and some basic activities. We're not doing any large leagues right now. Like a recreation coordinator mentioned, to be gradually going into this reopening to be safer and have some mitigation measures involved. This is part of our mitigation plan. And towards, in relation to the tournaments, they would be enforcement. And of course, if there's a tournament, for example, and they didn't submit an alcohol permit and they are using or drinking alcohol, it would be a responsibility of whoever the event organizer was. And the senior center did not reopen. That should be determined depending on the vaccines in this situation with COVID, and the transition with the vaccines. And as that situation keeps evolving, we'll make a call later on, along with reservations for facilities like any type of social gathering at the community center, culture center, or any of the other facilities. That's our plan, and it started March 15 with the order of the mayor, and that was active as of March 15 officially.
So I guess you were right. We were waiting for the school district to actually act on it. Yes, we got the call from one week to another. Thankfully, Recreation had a plan. They were working on a plan. They were ready, and we were able to adjust from 1 week to the other. Mm-hmm.
And any other questions on the mitigation or on the rec side for this item?
I know in the past it was discussed, was the liability waiver ever approved? And is it included in the packets so that?
We do have a liability waiver. It hasn't been approved, but we can follow up on this item. It's a good point. And also, and any other comments on the waiver?
No, I'm going through and I'm reading point by point at this moment. Now, you mentioned the benches. For the mitigation, who's responsible for cleaning or sanitizing them? So if it's a city-sponsored activity, the city will be responsible for cleaning and all this, and
yes,
sanitation.
Yes, it would involve some additional staff hours, labor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're considering some possible changes to the fee schedule
mm-hmm.
and the rental fees for additional supplies and labor.
Mm-hmm.
And something minimal, but I mean, it's pretty reasonable since we haven't changed any of our fees since 2014, and we're going to further discuss this item on the following item for the agenda.
Okay. At this moment, I don't have any more questions, but Vice Chair?
No, that was just a liability one. I mean, because it would make sense, at least just to protect the city's interests. Even though it should be common sense, but that's leaving it up to too much chance. But no, yeah, if that can be followed up with the COVID-19 liability waiver, that can be added to the rental agreements, and of course anything else that Parks and Rec may provide, just to have that safety net in place and basically protect us. Not to sound like lawyerish or anything like that, but at the end of the day, I mean, we need to look out after the city's interests as well. So, but no, that was my only comment on the COVID-19 liability waiver. I have nothing else.
And I do have one more thing I'd like to mention. Another event we have upcoming is our Day Glow Golf Tournament. It's going to take place April 10th. It's a fundraiser for our senior center. The cost would be $250 per team, 4-person team, and it's 2 rounds of golf and it includes dinner. And again, it's a fundraiser for our senior center. It's going to take place at the Rio Colorado Golf Course here in Somerton. And so we're currently advertising that and marketing that right now.
April
10th, starting at 3 p.m.
Is that a Saturday?
That is a Saturday.
There you go. So do you think we can put together, there's 4 of us, probably a team on 2 rounds.
Hi, hello, hi. I need the name of the presenter for the activity schedule. I need the name.
Joshua Segura.
Joshua what?
Segura. It's our presenter right now.
I know. I'm trying to. I don't know the last name. I can't understand you well, so I need to write. I'm taking notes. So, what's the last name? Can you spell it out, please?
Segura.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Joanna, the question was, since we're 4 of us, and probably we can actually support this activity. It's on a Saturday, April 10th.
Correct.
Okay, and it's to help fund the senior center. Okay, it's $250, so I think it's a good cost. I don't mind actually going for $100 in my case. So between the 2 of you or 3, we can actually pay the rest and have fun as the commissioners. We don't need to post that we're gonna be. I don't know if there's we need to post that we're gonna be together there if it's possible. You know, so because the city council, they're gonna be like 3 or more members, and they have to say a little disclosure that council members will be together at a certain location. So can you let me know, please, if we need to, just in case we decide to support you and be together there, the 3 or 4 of us, not to create any conflict.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. Thank you. And thanks again for your support.
Commission Chair, one last thing for consideration of the commission. Joshua and I are looking into a sponsorship package for the fall. We're targeting calendar year approach, basically seeking sponsorship opportunities for programs. We're going to put together in the next couple of weeks or months a sponsorship package that's going to involve all of our programs as part of our programming schedule. And the essence of offsetting some costs for our programs, as we discussed in the previous months, we are going over drastically in almost every activity in the thousands of dollars range. Basically, it's been over $2,000 or $2,500 for each activity, which in the long run it accumulates and it's a good amount. And seeking just sponsorship opportunities. But we would like some support from the commission. Is basically we're looking into structuring the leagues differently. For example, we are considering all-star games mid-season and to motivate the kids, get some interest, and we could add that to the sponsorship package. That's when the possible sponsors can come down and award the kids with a plaque, an award, or something related for their sake and best interest, because they do it for publicity and it's we help each other kind of way. And also we want to start doing stats. And I know some of the commission has worked at the schools, and we need help from some type of volunteer group, math club. I don't know if there's anything, Commission Chair, to do the stats for leagues. For example, the leaders, home run hitting the average, do the basic stats for each league for baseball, soccer, softball. That way there's some continuous, and when the all-star voting comes down, we're going to have the stats. The leaders are on the all-star team for a reason. They were the leaders throughout the first half of the season. And it's something to motivate the kids. We could post next to the snack bar, hey, He's the batting champion for this year. He's the leader of batting average right now. And that's something different, but we do need some help with the staff we have. It's really not possible, but it's a lot of numbers basically, and keep helping with the bookkeeping and the stats. That's my last comment.
I think we may be able to talk to some of the special ed math teachers at the SMS, and now that we're going back, that'll be a great way to actually support you. And precisely, I was talking to some two of the math teachers today about the excitement of going back in sports, and so maybe let me talk to at least one of them, and we'll see if we can get some names, and at the end, we can say thank you for the little plaque or something, to motivate the kids. But yeah, I think something can be done, definitely. The statisticians, the sports statisticians,
yeah, and I mean, if there's a math club around, maybe the commission later when we go back to awarding and doing the donation.
We don't have actually a math club right now, but we do have a chess club.
Oh.
And believe me that they are great at numbers, especially those. There are several championships brought to our school, and those kids are very clever, really, really good with numbers. And also, there's a cube club or whatever. What is it called? The Rubik's Cube. Okay, that I know they're trying to establish this again, and so they have to be good with numbers. So probably if we can get 1, 2, or 3 kids on board, that would be great.
Yeah, that's what we have in mind. A couple of kids will do, and it's a responsibility because it's continuous, but it's something that might be beneficial for both parties and possible donations along the way for the club when they want to travel or go out for any type of activity out of town.
That'll be great. Okay, I'll get in contact back to you. Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions for the update presented by Josh Segura? Comments? If not, thank you, Yashon. Thank you for your presentation. Let's move on to item number 9.3. Presentation draft amendment of the on-demand program rules and regulations by Vice Chairman Jesus Cervantes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commission members. Yes, last month we had actually the 2 meetings ago, we discussed updating our yard of the month guidelines and procedure to reduce the number of candidates from 4 to 1. It was a simple modification to our document. It was actually initially designed for a single winner at the time, but I believe during discussions that were had back then with different members, it was recommended that we do the 4 zones, which in reality does become overly complicated for such a simple program. So I did take the input that was discussed by the various commission members, and I did send out an update to the document. There were only 3 modifications. One was a administrative correction on the first page. It did list the city hall times from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., which were the city hall times that were in play about 3 years ago, I believe. So that's been updated and removed. It actually now says during regular business hours, just to keep it universal and easier to maintain. The other items, which will be on page 2, under judging areas 1 through 4 were removed, and so was the statement that identified US Highway 95 and Somerton Avenue as a central dividing point for the 4 different sections in Somerton. and it was replaced with a single sentence. It now reads, all residential properties within the city of Somerton city limits are eligible. So it was kept straight and simple. So those were the only changes made to the document and the policy itself. Actually, the program policy. So I did send out a draft to everybody to review for a discussion item. So at this point, I guess I'll open it. I do have a printed copy if you'd like to look at it, Mr. Chairman, for your input. And those who are joining us remotely, it was sent out via email to everybody, so it should be somewhere in your inbox, hopefully.
Yes, I would like to see a copy. I believe I saw the, yeah, I'm glad that you brought it. Thank you.
So if possible tonight, I am seeing if there's any discussion items to be covered regarding this, and either table it for next month for a vote or take a vote tonight based on those changes. As I mentioned, the changes were very minimal, as that program is actually designed for a single winner initially, not for the 4 that we had been using going forward.
Mm-hmm. And just to follow up what you were saying, also I contacted Parks and Rec director a few weeks ago to actually return the other 3 signs, because we actually ordered 4 of them, which I am in possession of 3 of them. So I'm gonna either bring it to you, and then you're gonna put it in a safe place, so we can actually have 1. So well, you actually got the changes that we needed in order to make it more accessible to everyone and easier. Because yes, you were right on the section that deals with the judging areas, having the area 1 and the area 2, and then the north and south, and forget it, and not seeing, I mean, the number of applicants. We were hoping that we were supposed to be having like few for just one area and few for another area. So it will make more sense to have kind of a universal, the whole city of Somerton. Okay, I like that change. Definitely, that change is the most needed one.
And I think the updated verbiage under the judging areas kind of reflects a better picture of who can submit. Because in reality, if you had the original document that read area 1 through 4, it is kind of add that complicated, unnecessary step for our citizens to kind of figure out, okay, what zone am I in? Am I in zone 4, zone 1? What if there's already 4 people in zone 3? Does that mean that can't apply? So this kind of levels the playing field for everybody. And for those that may be watching our meeting, I mean, it is open to everybody that lives within Somerton city limits. That also includes certain properties east of Somerton, up on the mesa, and out in the countryside as well. So yeah, if you do have a property that you'd like us to look at and consider for Yard of the Month, feel free to visit our website and or contact the Parks and Recreation Department. But in viewing our attendance right now, I don't think we'd be able to take a vote on it, because it would only be yourself, Mr. Chairman, and Commission Member Israel.
That's not much it would be.
We would need Commissioner Duran present, unless he's on the phone.
He just advised that he's not going to be able to attend the meeting.
Okay, thank you. So then, Commissioner Aisha Cervantes, I would like to table this for consideration and vote for next item. Okay, because you're right, at this moment we only have 2 that can vote. And since you're making those changes, we have to remain, yes, I understand that. The situation in which we are, yes.
Okay, sounds good. And as I mentioned, I am open for any feedback or comments on it. And if any do come up before or during next month's meeting, of course they can be addressed then. But as I've mentioned, it was a pretty simple re-edit of the document. Everything else appears to be reasonable as far as how the program played out.
Also, somebody wants to suggest, the advantages of having like a desert landscape, and the benefits that the city can actually have by saving water. So probably, I don't know, we can later on discuss this, you know, because you're, like for example, the first year of the month, the theme of the desert was very appropriate for our area and also saving water. Okay, but that was, and the other thing that was coming to me was actually the fake grass. You want to actually revisit that and include some people maybe that has a nice yard that includes fake grass, or just leave it as it is?
I'll leave that up to the commission. Aside from the two provided sheets of the policy, there were specific items that are included as part of the whole packet that do outline the specifics to the yard of the month. To address one of those concerns that was brought up, actually both of them, the yard of the month can be anything, whether it be a lush green garden or a xeriscape, which is rocks and some of the natural desert landscaping. Because we're just looking for somebody that takes pride in maintaining their yard and home. As far as the other item, we can have a discussion as far as having artificial plants and grass. We looked at it as more of a expense. We want you to be the one that also maintains your yard, because if you're hiring a professional company to come in and you're paying $300 every 2 weeks to have them do the work, then you're kind of, I guess, what am I looking for? It's not your work, you know. So we're looking for somebody that actually is taking the time to take care of their landscaping, whether it is once again a lush jungle landscape or a desert landscape. So to that point, I think we can have a discussion and see, and I'll provide the additional packet items that lay out those detailed.
Actually, when that person was talking to me about it, I said, but you know what? I just brought this because it was brought to me, so I just wanted to bring it to our attention here. But I totally agree with you. I mean, I enjoy actually trimming my own trees, even though I only have a mesquite tree and a palo. I mean, a yucateco tree and little ones over there. But that's, yes, I totally go for the person, seeing the person actually, and then the pride that you see in their faces, you know. Yeah, you're right. No, I will not change for a fake grass. Forget it.
Yeah, because another item that was discussed in the past was also opening it up for commercial businesses. But from the point of view of the commission at the time, Parks and Rec Commission is more towards the actual direct involvement of a community member, not necessarily a business. So that's why we left out the commercial aspect of the business. That also has come up in the past as to why a commercial business would not be able to get yard of the month. And that was for that reason. And I know it did spur some conversations with community development, but I don't think there was a consensus on it. So we kept it at just residential properties, which makes sense, at least for our commission oversight or involvement, I should say, with the community.
Well, thank you, Vice Chair Cervantes. Any comments, questions? Ms. Ezra? Joanna?
Not at this time. Thank you, Jesus. Good job.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on then to item number 10, summary of current events and future agenda items. So,
excuse me, Mr. Chair Vasquez, do you have an additional item on the
9.5?
Yeah, for the fees.
Which item will be that?
It's the last item on the.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's because I got the presentation draft and then the presentation draft for possible and proximate. Yes, thank you. Sorry, my mistake. 9.4. Go for it.
Let me share.
Yeah, the fee schedule.
Our fee schedule.
Yeah, you were saying for litigation, yes, for the COVID and all that. Makes sense.
Just a moment, excuse me.
Los example Jesús, I got just a little tiny difference here, the department fee, yes.
So, first, review the old, fees that are in place right now, or the current fees, I would say. We went away. Sorry. So this is the fees that are currently in place for the City of Somerton Parks and Recreation Department in relation to facility rental fees. The fees haven't been revised since 2014. We're not really looking to make any money or break even or be close to breaking even. We are considering some amendments to the fee schedule due to additional supplies that we are going to be providing for the community and using for the safety of the community, which is basically sanitizing equipment and, of course, extra staff hours. At the time the fees were adopted, the minimum wage was $7.90 in 2014. Currently, as of January 1st of this year, it is currently at $12.15 an hour. So that's a pretty significant difference. And of course, some of the fees revolve around having an attendant at the site. For example, the park lights, the field supervisor, as you can see, for any field rental, if it's going to be a tournament and an attendance going to be needed, it was set at $10 an hour. And they had it a little difference between the minimum at that time and the actual rate that was implemented. And in a moment, any questions up to this point?
Percentage-wise, do you have an idea like what is the increase? 10%, 5%?
I wouldn't be able to tell you a percent, but it's a very minimal difference. I just wanted to share the current rates first before sharing the proposal. Basically, this is the first time I reviewed with anybody, and just wanted to bring it forward to the commission first. It's very reasonable rates comparable to neighboring cities. We are the cheapest. All the other cities around, for example, for lights, if you go towards field rentals, we do, for residents, the first 2 hours, we don't charge. So they're gonna be using, let's say, ACC for a practice. The first 2 hours without lights, no fee. If they're gonna be practicing more than 2 hours, the fee is gonna be from 3 to 5 hours. It jumps into $10. They're gonna be there for an additional hour. And if they're gonna be using lights, it's only $10. The city of Yuma is doing $15 per hour for the lights, so it's significant difference. I believe City in San Luis does the same. It's like $10. So we are very, very comparable, but our rates are lower than neighboring cities. Of course, Yuma, it's a different situation for the population-wise, but we are comparable with the city of San Luis population-wise. As you may know, the community center is going to be equipped with a new HVAC system in the next couple of months. By the summer, the project should be finished, and so there's going to be an increment in utilities. but we are not really considering the utilities at this moment because we are aware of the complicated times due to COVID. A lot of people are unemployed, but we are aware of the factors that involve a situation as difficult as this, being economic, personal, mental, and stress and all that. So activities kick in and they are a positive factor. Social gatherings are not the priority, and that's why we are not reserving any ramadas or facilities for social gatherings. But we are looking forward. City management has pointed us in this direction. There is some interest in proposing to City Council some new rates. Any questions up to this point regarding the current rates and our motives for proposing a new fee schedule? And these are the pool. This is the rates for the pool.
Can you enlarge on that?
Yes, I can.
If you close your document on the there you go. On the top there is an X. There you go.
It takes me out from the.
Okay, yeah, open it again. Proposal fee schedule. Okay.
Leave.
Take it out again.
There it is.
There you go.
It's pretty small letters.
Yeah.
But what I do want to point out in this regards is the rates, for example, on packet A for 50 people, for a lifeguard, the ratio from one lifeguard to actual swimmers or users, it's 1 to 25. So there has to be at least one lifeguard for every 25 people inside the swimming pool. So for example, for packet A, there's 50 people, we need 2 lifeguards. At $60 per hour, this is based on a 3-hour time frame. So that would entail 2 lifeguards being there for 3 hours, which is approximately $36. For 2 lifeguards, it's going to be $72 for that expenditure. And currently at that table, they have it for $60 flat across the board. So we're right there, we're losing $12. So every reservation is $12 just on the actual supervision for the lifeguards. And the only thing we're proposing is just adjusting the minimum wage factor on that end. That's it. No additional expenses for right now, because as I mentioned, it's complicated times economically also. So we don't want to. We're trying to work with the community as much as we can, and that's the proposal that I have. The city management has different recommendations or any other factors like that. We might change it, but the fees we're considering, they're minimal. Any questions on the current fee schedule? Let me show you the new fee schedule that we're proposing. This is, as I mentioned, the fees that we're proposing. It's a minimal change, as you can see. We are proposing a change in the alcohol permit from $15, which we think it's very basic, and a $10 difference, which would be a $25 fee for any alcohol permit flat across for any type of reservation, of facility rental, or field use. And on the weekends for Ramadas, it's basically a $10 difference that we are proposing for all the Ramadas in comparison to the old fee schedule. Any comments up to now for Ramadas and fee
Just
schedule?
by curiosity, can you clarify what is the difference between Class A and Class B? Is it a nonprofit?
Sure. The Class A entails city co-sponsored organizations.
Mm.
Any city co-sponsored organization. Class B is for social, any type of social gatherings, and the only difference is resident and non-resident.
Mm-hmm.
Class C is for nonprofits, and Class D is commercial, or basically businesses.
Yeah. No, that was my only question at this point.
Pardon me, I'm gonna grab my notes. I apologize. Yes, it's basically a minimum change. They're not proposing anything outrageous or unreasonable for the community. As I mentioned, it's only a minor difference that would cover basically supplies and an extra staff hour to go sanitize. For example, for Ramadas, as you can see, we offer 2 different time frames, which is basically in the afternoon and in the evening from 5 to 9 for 4-hour time frames. So that would entail 2 different sanitizing sessions, because we would have to sanitize before the first reservation or after. Or we could go to just 1 reservation per evening. That will reduce some costs for the staff and for the city. But this has been the usual practice, and we would be basically sanitizing before the event or activity. And for the community center, we are proposing a $20 difference from the previous rate. That's what we have in mind currently. $8 would go towards supplies, and the $12 would go for the staff hour, for the sanitizing and basically the sanitizing. The rates are very reasonable and flexible. As you can see, for a Class B resident, that's basically for residents, any social activity, basically the parties, it would be $80 per hour. So just simple math, for a couple of hours it's less than $400 for a nice party at a facility that's not going to have AC. It was remodeled, the gym area or the area where they host the gatherings. So it's well worth it. I mean, this is what I'm presenting today. I haven't reviewed it with our city manager, and there might be some other changes, but I want the input from the commission first before moving forward. Any questions on the community center proposal?
Yes, can you review, this is Joanna. Jesus, can you review what the changes are to the facility charges, or like what they are from, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do this. I can't find it on here myself. Sorry. Can you review what the charges were, I guess, before, what their being proposed to be now?
Yeah, sure. Let me go back to the original. This is the original fees, the current fees. And there's not much of a difference, as you can see. For the Ramadas, we're basically proposing a $10 difference. $10 difference on the alcohol permit. And on the community center, it's basically $20 difference for each item, each of the class, any of the line items there. And on the cultural center, it's only a $15 difference, flat across the board. And the only difference would be for the culture center for the alcohol permit. It's not going to be 15, it's going to be 25 across the board for any type of reservation. We believe, $15 is very minimal. Alcohol it's something very popular, and most of the facilities that are reserved, they request an alcohol permit, and $25 is also a very minimal fee. Did I answer your question, Commission member?
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And going back to the proposal.
We lost the image here.
Are you able to see this?
No.
I'm sharing the screen. Are you able to see it right now? No?
No. We're just seeing a picture of the city hall.
Joanna, are you able to see it?
Yes, I can see it. Thank you.
It's local.
Yeah, because I'm sharing it here on the screen. It says that I'm sharing my screen. No luck.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna review it just here. I can always email the format just to get a better grasp of things. For field rental fees, any type of reservation when it comes to the fields for practices or tournaments, the only change we are considering is changing the supervisor fee. The field supervisor fee, which is currently set at $10 per hour, and just adjusted to the minimum wage, which is $12.50. We consider the fees for the lights should be optimal at the moment, considering this tough times, and we are comparable to Yuma in the sense that they normally charge around $80 for the setup or for striping. We're currently at $80 for a soccer field and $60 for the softball, baseball fields. And but also field lights, since we have an idea with the school district, it's at $20. That money comes back to the district to pay utilities and all that. And all the other, for example, for the field reservations for a resident, as I mentioned, the first 2 hours without lights, it's no fee. After that, it's $10 for 3 to 5 hours, plus $10 additional for each hour of lights. And for a non-resident, to use the field up to 2 hours, it's $10, and it's the same rate for lights, $10. And then when they want to use the field for the whole day, for example, for residents, for any type of activity, it's $40 for the reservation and $10 for each additional hour of lights. Up to now, we haven't had any type of overhead or drastic overhead with utilities. It is an attraction for some folks coming into Somerton that our rates are very convenient. So it does create some activities on the weekends and some business for Somerton when larger groups of people are here for tournaments. They're here the whole day. They're gonna pump gas. They're gonna go to the Del Sol and buy some meat and do a carne asada. So they're here in Somerton, and it's not a bad situation. Any comments on the field rental?
I guess not at this moment.
Yeah, there's no change besides on the alcohol permit and the field supervisor, which we would adjust to the minimum wage. And for facilities, for the aquatic center, which is the second, the only proposal that we have in mind as the Parks and Rec department for right now is just adjusting to the minimum wage for the lifeguards. Make sure that we're getting in return what we're coming in terms of salaries and expenditures for staff. It's going to be coming back in return to the city, which is the minimum. So they're going to be using the 2 lifeguards, for example, in packet A for 50 people. It's going to be $72.90 for the 3 hours of staff time. We would basically round it up to 75. Which would be a $15 difference for lifeguards. The rest we would leave the same, and it's not going to make that big of a difference. It's only going to be $15 more for the pool. And any comments for the pool?
Yeah, I have a question. The fee entrance to the pool will remain the same?
Yeah, we are considering the same fee. And we're currently looking at the TLC at the pool, and tomorrow we have a scheduled meeting with the city inspector just to check on the safety, make sure we're in compliance with all the codes, and look at some minor TLC before we reopen.
Mm-hmm.
The signage, had some signage of we need to replace some signage and things like that. But the tentative opening date is around the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know if schools are going to send a request to go for the open swim on the last few days, and they do their gatherings there, that's the target date for us for the pool.
The end of May. So
End of May.
Last week.
Yeah.
So the schools will be for summer break, basically. Maybe summer school, yeah, they'll be working, but usually they're off by then.
Yeah, so it's very basic what we have in mind. I don't know what the commission thinks about this approach or this project or proposal.
I think in general, I mean, this is a long time coming. I mean, since it's been, 6 years since the fee schedule has been updated, costs have gone up, not only from the minimum wage side, but also equipment, products are needed, everything from seed to fertilizer to keep the fields maintained. Operation costs essentially have gone up. And you hit the nail on the head when you touched on our fee schedule for City of Somerton. It is lower compared to some of our neighboring communities. We have tried to offer that same level of service as well that you would expect playing on a City of Yuma field or City of San Luis, because some of their facilities are a bit more, I guess for lack of terms, better equipped and maintained than ours. But at the same time, it comes at a price. You can't have one without the other. And being local government, we can't make a profit either. But at the same time, I think as things get better, the city will have to kind of revisit this topic to bring some of those costs a little bit higher up, maybe to not have the Parks and Rec department run in the red every year. Because I mean, even after a while, a leaky water pipe will eventually fill a glass, and that glass is going to tip over, and you're back at square one. And I'd probably say maybe something to explore would be not necessarily increasing fees directly for residents, because we live here and we pay taxes and we are a bit more, it's our home. But consider the fee increases at least for maybe some of the external parties that use our field facilities. Since they are coming from outside the community at times, not to say that some community members are not part of those external organizations, but they tend to be a bit more the heavier users of some of our facilities.
Yeah.
I think it's been discussions that we had in the past too, like in some of the comments that have been made by several citizens, it's like we pay a lot, whether it be or normal taxes or for fees for kids to be in programs, but where does that money go? I mean, some of our fields at one point had holes in them and were in horrible states. So it kind of goes back to that first comment that I made. You kind of get what you pay for. And if we don't adjust some of our fees to kind of keep up with it, the quality of service that people expect is not going to be there. I mean, I know your department has been making strides left and right to fix some of the wrongs that have happened in the past, which is outstanding. But I think fees is one of those big thorns that kind of needs to be pulled out and really put on the table for the city as a whole to discuss and identify, because it does take money to run facilities, clean them, sanitize them, especially at this point in time, because we do have COVID running rampant. It's getting better, but we're not at that point where we can say that a cleaning fee would be unreasonable, especially if it does take a staff member away from doing something else.
So I just wanted to throw that out there as far as, I mean,
I'm for increasing fees at a reasonable rate, but I think more options should be explored as well, so that we're not passing a full brunt to our community base, our citizens. And kind of using the example that Chairman Vasquez kind of touched on, the pool fee. You know, it's like,
in reality, if
our kids are going to the pool, why would they end up paying more money to go to the pool? But if you have a external entity based on the ABCDE classifications, I think that fee would be offset to an external entity using our facility rather than our local community members going to enjoy the pool or having a birthday party at our Ramada. So I think might be a route to explore eventually as well. But I just wanted to throw that out there as far as my opinion and point of view on things regarding the fee schedule.
In my case, and my point of view is those increases are needed. I like to think humbly, you know, and as long as you are not so much on the red, or you are not on the red, I'll be okay with it. Okay, because they are needed. Definitely, everything has gone up. Groceries, you name it, everything is not the same as it was actually like 6 years ago. I see myself, buying groceries instead of spending the traditional $200, spending almost $400. So it makes a lot of sense. And it also, it opens the opportunity to, keep the prices for locals as affordable as possible. But, for our visitors, why not? It's Yuma does that, other entities do that. So, that'll be also something to think about. Piggyback with, along with what Vice Chairman is saying, that, it may keep you out of the red if you think about those increases, not to the local, but probably groups that are moving in to have fun and play and use of facilities.
Yes, I'll make sure I take into consideration those comments. There is some slight difference in the fees between residents and non-residents.
Mm-hmm.
We could adjust them a bit more. For example, on the Ramadas for the weekends, it's only $5 difference that we have, that we were considering for residents or a social gathering. A typical use of a Ramada, it's $20 for 4 hours, and for non-residents, only $25. So maybe another $5 difference, maybe 20 and 30. Or the gym, there is a more significant difference for the community center rental. It's $80 for residents for a social gathering, and $120 for non-residents. And maybe add a bit more to that, make it at least let's say $50 difference there. Maybe change it up to $130, and it's still very affordable. Because if somebody comes down from San Luis that has family here in this county, or somebody comes down from Yuma, which some people do. And now with AC, we're going to get a lot more demand for it. There's going to be a lot more reservations. And people are going to come down because it's going to be way lower than the fee that they're going to find in Yuma or in San Luis. But there's no community center or event center in San Luis that I know of. There used to be one, but they turned it into a school over there, like Plaza Redell. And here, there is some event centers leading towards the exit of Somerton, going into Yuma. And in Yuma, the Civic Center, the rates are way higher. So, and honestly, the community center, it's in good shape. It looks good. It needs some more improvement. But with AC, it was the main thing that was affecting us. Now it's going to be a brand new system with a nicer image or a remodeling to the actual building, the inside. So it's a lot more presentable. And there's some more projects along the way that we have in mind to do some work to the exterior, the facade, possibly some projects in the future, and repainting of the entire building from the outside. So that's going to make it look way nicer than it is right now. So it's worth it. I mean, more than worth it. You're not going to find that type of price here in the U.S. and not even in Mexico. I mean, it's pretty comparable to the rates that they offer for a nice place over there in San Luis, and it's probably even lower than top-notch event center in across the border. Any other comments on what we have in mind as we get ready to propose something to City Council and have a proposal ready for them to review and consider?
Yeah, because I mean, but my personal opinion, again, I know the argument can be made that if we were to increase some of these costs for our visiting groups, organizations, that it impacts the local economy. People spending money at the gas station or some of the local food places, but at the same time, you also got to find that balance, because from time to time, the community is forgotten in the name of big business or businesses. You know, there should be that balance of you're not only looking out to attract business to the community or that revenue stream, but also have the residents pump money back into the local community. An example would be like if I'm being charged X amount of money to use our facility here in Somerton, it's not really upkept. I mean, what's the incentive in me still using it? Well, if I can just go to Yuma, maybe pay a higher premium, but I'll get a better level of service or a better level of facility. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, based on my opinion and some of the actions that I've seen in the past. It's like, I'm all for spurring economic development in the community, but at the same time, it shouldn't be at the cost of us, the community members, you know? So, and I wanted to throw that out there because I know there may be some pushback on kind of focusing on external parties using our facilities and having them pay a bit more than a resident would. But that's all I had. Like I said, it's based on my observations and my opinion.
I appreciate the comments. Any further comments, Commission members?
I don't have any at this moment. I don't know about member Commissioner Ezra.
None at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go for summary of current events, future agenda items. So I would like to actually put an item in the agenda for next month. And that will be the revisit of the Somerton Parks and Recreation Commission Year of the Month modification presented by Vice Chairman Jesus Cervantes. The other thing that I would like to actually present a possible, just a discussion, no action taken, but the possibility to promote the handling of the pets leftovers. I was actually at the foothills area with my friend, and we were actually doing the jogging, and we walk our dogs. And I found this small signage, like posted in corners, and very nice design. I don't think that's very expensive. It's like no more than 2 feet tall. Okay, saying, let's be nice to each other and pick up after your dog and things like that. Because I noticed as we actually walk towards the park, people actually walk the dogs towards the park, and on their way towards the park in the adjacent streets or like at the Union, okay, dogs are actually leaving their stuff right there, and they don't seem to care. Okay, so a little, kind of educating the public that it's important to pick up after our pets, not get upset, not confrontational, but in a way that is educational to everyone. Because now we have this wonderful pet park that we have there. It looks beautiful, but let's put actually a little bit more signage so we can put on the agenda to discuss also how much it will cost or how can we approach this. Okay. Thank you. That's my recommendations. Vice Chair Cervantes.
Not really anything at this point. It might be premature right now, but I know in the past the city had discussed a ballpark / event field over by Cesar Chavez in 95, where the proposed high school is going to be, in the current location of Perrycombe Park. Based on, I guess, last night's city council meeting, they're looking at building a Parkview commercial complex in some of those city-owned parcels. So I don't know how that may or may not impact some of the future plans for that site, or if it's still even being considered. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's premature, but maybe if you could gather more information on that project or its future, I guess I should say. I'm sure.
So, you was questioning an update on the high school project in relation to fields, right?
Yes. Only because that movement with the Parkview commercial complex is gaining steam based on
it's gaining momentum.
Conversations.
Yes.
And that's all I have as far as an agenda item.
Thank you. Commissioner Secretary Joanna Ezra, anything for the agenda next month?
None at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Rec Director?
None at the moment.
Thank you. So I guess we don't have item number 11 or 12. So and I lost track of my time here because my computer is, what time is it? Being at 7:20, I would like to adjourn our meeting for today's date, March 17th. If there's, I don't think I need a vote for that. Do I need a, no? Okay, so let's adjourn being at 7:28. Thank you. Have a great day.
Question, can you hear me?
Yes.
Commissioners, can you hear me? Did you guys get a copy of the meeting notes from last month?
I didn't get, I know we submitted, but for the next month, yes, if you can actually help us with copy of the minutes? Yes, for next month.
Like how? Because I submitted it. So what do you mean? Like I have to make physical copies of them or what?
Oh, no, you can actually, you can email us, or use our form that we have for the minutes. I will help you with that.
No, I mean, I submitted it. I'm asking, like, if you guys got the copies today, if you received copies of it, or I'm confused of the submittal.
It was only sent via email. No copies were not present for the meeting. It was only available through email.
Okay. So for the next month, we're gonna make sure that every member gets a copy of the minutes, okay?
Okay, so what? Wait. Review the procedures right now so that we're all clear. How is everyone going to receive a physical copy?
Not physical, via email. Make sure that,
So what's the change in procedures from last time?
They're not on the portal?
If any.
Can I add it to the portal too?
Okay, the changes in procedures, yes, if we can send them at least 24 hours before our meeting, that will be the change.
So
for example, we need 14, then send them March 13.
So, okay, hold on. So if sending them how? Because I sent them way before 24 hours before the meeting. They were sent way before that. What's the change?
Mm-hmm. No, then you did it right. Okay. My only advice to that is to actually, if you can send it like 24 hours before the meeting, because if it happens to maybe your email, I received your email, but it was lost in all the other tons of emails that I received. For example, my other commissions or boards that I see, I received the minutes no more than 48 hours before the meeting. So that gives me the time and the attention to go through the minutes and study them. Okay.
So that I don't have to submit them like as soon as I'm done. I have to wait until 48 hours before the. I just don't want to do extra steps. I just don't want to. I don't want to do extra steps. But that I want the clear directions. So I would clarify, when are they supposed to be submitted? Because they were submitted a long time ago. So don't do that anymore. Yeah. Submit them 48 hours before the next meeting.
No, you did it the right steps were done actually. Okay, the meeting was over, then we submit those minutes actually within a few days. What I'm saying is, for us as commissioners, it is okay to send a copy of the minutes that you already submit to the city, okay, for us before the meeting. And so basically, and correct me, Jesus, you need those minutes, let's say within a week frame.
A week is ideal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for the city within a week, and for us, no, let's say like 48 hours before our actual meeting.
Okay, so can someone like Jesus like forward that? Because I send the meetings to Jesus, right? So can like Jesus forward it 48? Because that's just like, for me, it's too much to keep up with.
Yeah. No, actually, the other, and probably you'll see it on the other boards too. The secretary actually submits that to the city or to the board or whatever, and then the person that is actually, in this case, I guess Jesus, the Parks and Rec director, will be the person that can forward a copy, or even with the agenda,
Right.
like
That's
for the
how I've
city.
seen it. Right. That's how I've seen it. Like where the minutes are sent with the agenda together.